Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss about objectives of engineering research. The objective of engineering research is to solve some new and as well as important problems. So far we discussed about what is research and what are the different categories, all those things, and also in the introduction classes all these things we have already discussed, but according to the syllabus we are going. So in this video also in detail I will explain. So objectives of engineering research. What is engineering research? That we discussed in the previous class, right? So it can be the planning, designing, or anything in order to identify any new problems and try to solve that particular problem and give some new solutions to our existing problem or worldwide whatever the problem is being faced. So these all things comes under engineering research, where the science and technology is involved, where the designing part is involved, where the planning part is involved, and as well as execution part is involved. That's what we saw as a definition of engineering research in the previous class. So in this class we are talking about majorly the objectives of the engineering research, how the approach should be there as an objective or a goals for engineering research. The first point which says about the objective of engineering research is to solve new and important problems. It has to be very important. That means you have to concentrate on the problems where the world is facing right now, and also we should solve that. The solution should be through the new approach. So solve new and important problems, and also since the conclusions at the end of the one's research outcome has to be new. So once you conclude your research, you do your research in your laboratories, and when you come out, when you get the results, that results has to be new, because it cannot be same as whatever been followed in the earlier stage. Then the whole method what you have followed is just a copy paste of someone else research, so you are getting the same result. But if you are looking for a new problems, okay, if you are considering the new problems and you are trying to solve that particular problem, definitely your result will be different from the existing results. That's why the possible research or end of the one's research outcome has to be new. So but when one starts, the conclusion is unknown, but when you start doing this, so we don't know what the conclusion could be, but we can guess some particular results, but we cannot 100% say that I am going to get the maximum yield at this particular temperature or this particular pH or at this particular concentration, or I am going to get the best output at this particular the parameters, or and maybe other things in different fields. So here what is unknown, the conclusion will be unknown when you start the research, but the research outcome has to be something new results, right? So here the new results can be guessed. That means I can guess that we might get this much antibacterial property, or we might get so much yield, or you might get so much output, or you might get so much efficiency of a particular fuel cells or solar cells or whatever it is, depending on your respective fields. So we are going to guess, because what do you mean by research? You are doing something new to the already existing thing. So when you are doing something new, you don't know the results exactly, but you can guess the results. Okay, so the start itself is a tricky. One may say the answer is what? It's based on the circumstantial evidence. So based on the evidence, circumstantial evidence means the sense at that particular situation, at that particular parameter, based on the logical and as well as scientific evidence, what could be the intuition, and as well as along with the intuition is something that you are experiencing. When you are doing experiment, you feel that I might get the results like this. So that is your intuition. It is coming from your inside. It's not just coming like on the air or something like that without any evidences and all. You know that field, you know that this particular voltage I am going to get, or this particular efficiency I am going to get. That one intuition will be there from your inner mind, and that is called as intuition, and also imagination. So based on the things you know in that particular field, you can guess that through the imagination. So that if I am getting the efficiency for this particular parameters around 40%, then for other, if I change the parameters, I should be getting around 45, like that. So this is called as imagination. You are imagining the things, but yet you have not yet got the results. Before that only you will have this intuition, imagination, okay, based on the circumstantial evidences. So once one guesses what may be the possible conclusions, so this is where we need intuition, imagination, all these things, where we can guess some particular possible conclusions, but that doesn't mean that the result has to be the in correlation or 100% it should be as similar to what you are expecting. These are called possible conclusions, are nothing but expected results, and but actual results are unknown, because when you start the research you don't know what you are going to get. Okay, so a guess gives you a target to work towards. For example, I am developing some nano based solar cells. Imagine, so the normal solar cell efficiency maximum is around 20 to 25%, something like that, maybe 28%. So I want to use some carbon nanotubes which are highly conductive material on earth as of now. So I can use quantum dots or something like that in terms of the channel material, or somewhere maybe on the surfaces I can coat some dyes, like we are having dye sensitized solar cells, and I can use some carbon nanotubes or any kind of nanomaterials which has got the better conductive property or thermoconductive property or photon absorption property. When I use all these things, then what is my guess? My guess has to be at least 10 to 20%, or maybe at least minimum 10% of efficiency of a particular solar cell has to be increased. So that is my guess. So a guess gives you a target to work towards. Okay, so and after initial attempts, so you'll be keep on attempting, you'll keep on changing the temperature, keep on changing the materials, keep on changing the dyes on the solar cells, solar panels, then it may turn out that the guess is incorrect. So I was expecting around 20% extra efficiency, but I might not get 20%, I might get just 5% efficiency. So it might go wrong also. Whatever you guess, that might go wrong. It doesn't necessary to have the correct answer itself there, because when you get the your guess is wrong, so you can tell whole scientific community that do not expect too much on this particular aspects. So if you want to have something else, if you want to try whatever I have not tried in my research. So that's what you can say to your whole scientific community. You can save their time, energy, money and resources. That's why research is there. So even the negative results also are the results, so that you can tell out the whole community and you can say that this cannot be done and it's better to avoid this particular way of doing the research. So but the work may suggest a new worthy avenues or a targets, okay, which are a goals, so which may be based on some modifications of initial targets. So since I didn't get the whatever I was guessing the result, so I can modify some particular initial target, or maybe I can introduce some need of new techniques. Okay, so I may need new techniques. I can introduce some new techniques or new methods. So or one may obtain a negative results also in terms of the engineering research, so which may render the initial target, that means which will rule out the initial target or some other targets as not realizable, or may lead to fortunate discoveries while looking for the something else, or that is you can call it as a serendipity. That means you are looking for something but you are not getting that result, so your guess is incorrect. But sometimes if you are fortunate, sometimes that will lead to some fortunate discoveries. Something, for example, you are looking for something, you will get some other discoveries done. For example, X-ray. What is X-ray? X-ray is something the scientist was looking for, the physicist was looking for something, but when he kept his hand in front of this particular rays, he found that he was able to see his bones on the screen. So he termed it as he is working on something else. So now he didn't want to concentrate on these particular aspects. So he termed it as let's call it as a X-ray. Later we will see something like that. So that's how we came to know about X-ray, and till now also we have not named it. You are calling it as a X-ray itself. That is X-ray is one of the fortunate discoveries, one of the example for the fortunate discoveries. The physicist was looking for something else, but he got something else. That is X-ray. Okay, so you are getting my point. Even though you are getting the negative results, that is also very important in the research. So research objectives can sometimes be Convoluted, that is nothing but very difficult to understand or very difficult to formulate, or in terms of hypothesis and all, and difficult to follow also. So knowing where and how to find different types of the information, that is very important, and it will act as a very basic which will help one to solve engineering problems. It's very important what is our source, where I am getting these all engineering articles, from which website I am looking for it, or what kind of journals I am looking. That will help once to solve the engineering problems in both academia and as well as professional careers. So that once you know these particular tools or websites or databases, you can access a very good quality research which has been published so far, even till today. All those things you can access, you can read those papers, you can review them, then you can say that this particular work has not been done in my particular field, so I am looking for this particular research. So I'll take up that as a problem or a challenge as a problem, and then I will start working on it, and then I'll get the results, and that will be definitely the new results, and that is the outcome of the research. So a lack of investigation into the engineering guidelines, for example maybe the standards and as well as the best practices, they result in failure with severe repercussions in the sense unintended consequences. For example, if you don't know, if you are not getting this information from the different types of information or different types of source, whatever I just told, then you will not be having a lot of data. That means when you don't have enough data because you have not studied properly, you have not reviewed properly, so you are having the lack of investigation, because that means you have not done the research properly or review properly. Once you are not done the review properly, you don't know how many people have worked on this particular field, that this and all, till where the advancement has been done, it is not there. So when you start without the knowledge, that is lack of investigation, that will lead to the failure of the severe repercussions. That means unintended consequences will be there. That means your whole time, energy, power, or whatever the money, everything will be wasted. Resources in the laboratory, everything will be wasted, because some of the chemicals are costlier than the gold and silver also. So all things plays a very important role. That's why you need to have a proper investigation or proper review before you start doing any research. So as an engineer, the ability to conduct thorough and accurate research while clearly communicating the results is extremely important in decision making. Definitely, whatever the research, whatever the investigations you do after reviewing, you will find a research gap, all those things. Then how you are going to conduct, or ability to conduct thorough and accurate research. That means how you are going to conduct the research, or how you have conducted the research, that has to be clearly mentioned in your research papers. So clearly communicating the results is extremely important. So you have to communicate the results in a way that you have to compare the already existing results. So and so people have worked on so and so, they got these results, but we worked on the something different, but we got the better results than them. So that communication, that clarity should be there when you are mentioning the results, so that your paper or the publications can be accepted for the publication. So it's extremely important in the decision making. So the main aim of the research is to apply scientific approaches to seek answers. That is the major goal of the engineering research. So main aim is what? To apply scientific approaches to seek answers. For what? To open questions. To open questions, or to problems, or to challenges, whatever it is. So we need to have the scientific approaches in order to get the answers or the solutions for a given problem. So that is what the main aim of the research is. And although each research study is particularly suited for a certain approaches, that means every research has got something to do with their specific knowledge, or in-depth knowledge should be there in their particular field. Now as a biologist, I can do the better results in biology and as well as a nanobiotechnology, because I have masters in nanotechnology and engineering in biotechnology, and I have done my PhD in nanobiotechnology. So if I start working on nanophotonics or electronics or something, I might not achieve, or I might not be good at it, because each research study is particularly suited for a certain approach. So in general, the followings are the different types of the research studies. For example, specifically if you want to mention, for every area there is a different way of classification for the research. We are having exploratory, so a lot of exploration, if it is being done, the research is based on the exploration of a particular exploring a particular field or something else, then it is exploratory. Or if it is related to the formulative, most of the physics research and chemistry research or basic science research will be more on formulative. Even mathematical research will be based on the formulative, and whereas descriptive, so descriptive usually will comes for almost all this management stuff and the scientific literature, where we will study on a particular group of people or case studies and all. Next, diagnostics, totally specifically designed for the identification of the diseases, okay, that is specifically for biomedical field. And next, hypothesis or testing. So this hypothesis testing plays a very important role. Hypothesis, specifically almost all physics and electronics or most of the fields, they depend totally on the initial hypothesis. Then they will start working on it, then they will test it, and then they will come to know that whether if the results are okay, then it is proven, or else the hypothesis will go wrong. So hypothesis is usually based on the scientific evidence, so it has to be developed so that the testing can be properly done and you will get the best results. So the objectives of the engineering research should be to develop a new theoretical or applied knowledge. These all are different objectives, okay, so you can note it down. So to develop new theoretical or applied knowledge, and not necessarily limited to the obtaining abilities to obtain a desired result. You don't have to stick on to the I have to get this result only. Your idea or your goal is to develop a new theoretical or applied knowledge. You have a problem, try to solve that problem with the new approaches. The results what you are guessing, it may not be that, it might be the negative result, it might be the positive result. You have to develop a new theoretical or applied knowledge. That means it has to be, whatever you are doing, that has to be innovative. That's it. So the objectives should be framed such as, in the event of not being able to achieve the desired results, imagine you are not getting whatever you have guessed or you have desired results, so that is being sought. What happens? One can fall back to the understanding why it is not possible. So you can go back to the from the basicals, why you are not getting the expected results. So because that is also a contribution towards ongoing research in solving that problem. So what you can say, that you can find out why I have not got these results. So maybe there are several factors, maybe because of this particular temperature or a pH or some particular parameters, there is a problem, the particular things will not work, that's why I am not getting this result. So when you conclude your result, even though you have not got the whatever expected result, this is also the successful research. Why I am telling? Because you can avoid other researchers to work on this, because when the same people will have same thought, when they go for all the information gathering, they will also get your paper, because it is, since it will be related to their field, because same thoughts. And when they read your paper, they will come to know that this particular work has been done and they have not got the expected results, and reason also we will be mentioning. Even they got to know the reasons, so they can avoid it. So that's why even that is also will act as a contribution toward ongoing research in solving that particular problem. Or maybe someone, after reading your paper, they will think in different ways, so they can have a different approaches, like that. Actually they can propose a different approaches where this actually whatever you have guessed, that was possible by the different research groups. Understanding, even this has happened in a lot of cases. What happens, whatever the perspective we are having, the same perspective if everyone is having, it may not be solved, but the other perspective can bring the different approach, and different approach can solve this problem, and they can get it whatever you were expecting that result, that will be possible for with the different research, because they have changed the perspective, they have changed the approach. That's why they are able to solve that particular problem which you were not able to solve. So that might be the one more case. Understanding? So till then, whatever you have published, that is obviously it is giving this whole scientific community not to try in this way. You can try with some different approach and see whether you are getting the possible results or not. So that's why the research plays a very important role, and research, these all things will come to under the goals of the research goals. okay, or goals of engineering research or objectives of engineering research. The next topic we are having the motivation in engineering research, that we will discuss in the next class.